First thing I want to say, I never planned on making this video. I never wanted to make this video. You guys have never seen a drama video on my channel before. Even as the Mopey situation was unfolding, I didn't, see that as an opportunity to, come in and take advantage of it. It wasn't until Jidal put out tweets just saying, completely false information. And then also Chris has now deleted, all right? That video isn't even up anymore. Chris has now deleted 43-minute video just talking reckless. I will say this video will be pretty politically correct. The reason for that is I have been working with a legal team on this. They're trying to play dirty. They've sent out cease and desist to try and keep people quiet. I'm not worried about that stuff. I have a very strong legal team that's been working with me on this. They've been kind of overseeing everything. That is what they asked of me to, keep this clean. I'm not gonna go, take a deep dive into the group chat and, show like gossip and try and take text and manipulate them and try and, twist the story. I'm not gonna do any of that. But what I will be doing is clearing my name. And then I'm also gonna finally tell my side of what happened. These people have lied to my face. They've said things behind my back. They've stolen from me. On December 14th and December 15th, Jidal put out the following tweets. This is something that the group has kind of always put out as a narrative. It's always painted me and Los as like these lazy people that weren't helping the group in any way. I'm gonna put out an entire timeline later in the video. That way everything adds up for you guys. But my first response to Jidal's tweets, I moved back to California to be close to you guys and so I could be in the group and so we could do videos together. These people told me that the plan was they're gonna get like this huge house in Calabasas and that I would have a spot back in the house. That's my first response to Jidal's tweets. The second thing is, I'm gonna put up on screen just a fraction of the amount of times I reached out in the group chat asking about recording. Now, all the texts you guys are seeing on screen right now, these are texts that are just from like the final 5 weeks I was in the group. It's not even counting, the entire months before that. And also the texts you guys are seeing, some of them, I'm not even recording my own video. I'm just showing up to be in their videos. I know Chris brought it up in his video. There was a time where I was like, yo, I apologize. I've been MIA for like 2 months. That was an exaggeration. I was gone for like 15 days. So I went back home. I was helping my mom with some stuff. I went on a vacation for the first time in my life. Growing up, I couldn't afford to go on vacation. And then all the other times I went on trips, it was always like YouTube or business related. I shouldn't even have to be defending myself in this situation because there's so many other times where, group members, they had stuff going on or they were going on trips and they were gone for like a week or two. Like I said, I know they're probably going to take that, try and manipulate it. So I just want to be, straight up about that. And once again, I immediately followed up that message by saying, hey, going forward, whenever you guys need me, like I'm going to be there. I'm good to go. I have a question for you guys. Did you guys ever see any of them record a video at my place? It never happened. They never once even came to my place. That's really all I got to say about Jidal's tweets. This next part, we're going to talk about Chris's now deleted video.
The narrative that TD was kicked because he was taking care of his mom, and like a lot of outside sources are trying to spread that narrative, whether you heard it from people or not. And TD, you're literally telling people that. That's not true. That's not the case, and I'm here to clear that up.
I could have spent close to 2 hours just talking about all the lies and the amount of times LSK contradicts himself in his own video, but I'm not here to do that, okay? So the first thing I'm gonna say, that's a complete lie. I have never gone anywhere. I've never said this to anybody, that I got kicked out of the group for taking care of my mom. Since there was a lot of questions on why I wasn't in the group, there was, fans that came up with this narrative that's why I got kicked out. Chris, in your own video, you put a screenshot where I tell you to not let fans stir up the drama. There is always false narratives when it came to this situation. That's just how the internet works. There's plenty about me, there's plenty about them, but for him to say that I came out and said that, that's a straight lie. That's just completely untrue.
Don't understand is like you're claiming that you heard that I talk shit behind your back.
Chris, did you forget that you text me apologizing for talking behind my back? I'm gonna read part of this long text that Chris sent me. So he said, there are things said about one another and negative things spread that weren't true, but I know and will admit I have said stuff behind your back in spite of built up emotions that I don't feel to discuss, is that's the old me and I've moved forward from those feelings a long time ago, but I apologize. Let me just say this. These people have snaked a lot of others over the years. And somebody came to me, another person that they snaked. This was somebody that Zach was extremely close with. And, you know, they had access to his iMessage. Since you snaked this person, once they saw I got kicked out of the group and Los got kicked out of the group, they sent me dozens of screenshots of you and Zach constantly talking behind our back. I could be here all day just reading all these messages that got sent to me, but here's just a few of them. And like I said, these are between Chris and Zach. Zach texts Chris saying, dude, shit's crazy, and I know he be nasty hoes too. Chris responds with, yeah, taking whatever he can. Laugh my ass off. Zach then followed it up with, exactly. Sheesh. Here's another one. Zach texts Chris saying, did you get a long ass text from Lewis? Chris says, laugh my ass off. Yep, gotta love it. Best apology yet, haha. Keep this in mind that Chris, like several times, has said that, you know, Los never owns up, never sends apologies, you know, never admits for his wrongdoings, never is, you know, holds himself accountable for his actions. Los sends them an apology, and this is what they're saying behind his back. And keep in mind, me and Los were still into hype when all this was going on. Zach says, laugh my ass off, bro. I don't even know what to say to him at this point. I think he's only saying this because he saw the stuff we've been putting on Twitter. Well, that's interesting because Chris also complained about us putting out subliminal messages. You kind of are admitting right there that that's what you did to Los, and that's why he sent you an apology. Chris says, I haven't responded yet, but yeah, most likely, laugh my ass off. And Zach says, I haven't either. I've already said all I can say like 20 times at this point, LOL. And Chris said, yep, I think I'm gonna just say that, haha. Some of these are pretty personal, and I think you guys get the point. So I'm not gonna go over any more of them, at least in this video right here, but if I need to in the future, I do have more of them. I really don't want it to go there. I have every screenshot, every text from like 2016, 2017.
You were talking with the landlord's daughter in the old Two Hype house, and that caused so much tension, dude. And you never like apologize for that when I'm expressing to you how I feel. Like, dude, like, I don't mess with you, bro, because how you treated me, how you made my girlfriend uncomfortable, how you had me deal with your shit with the landlord, and then I'm like on everybody's ass because this dude's just angry at me and for whatever reason.
I'm gonna kill two birds with one stone in this next one. So the things that Chris is saying about I got in bed in my boxers with Bree, and then also I was getting with the landlord's daughter that created all this awkward tension. It's just completely not true at all. Here's what's really interesting about this, right? So Chris is saying these things happened at the Yorba Linda house. We lived in the Yorba Linda, well, I lived in the Yorba Linda house from July of 2017 until November of 2017. And then that's when I moved out to help take care of my mom. Apparently these things happened sometime in that time frame, right? In the end of 2017. I didn't get kicked out of Two Hype until May of 2019. You're telling me that Chris held this in for like 15, 16 months, and then that's why I got kicked out of the group? That doesn't even add up. The Bree situation, just completely fabricated. Like, when Bree moved into the house, she became one of the boys. And there was a lot of times where, you know, me and Bree would, you know, troll Chris, and we would make jokes. There's text that I could put up on screen that I know the internet would have a field day with. But the thing is, like, those were jokes. And I'm not going to be like Chris and put text up on screen and try and manipulate them. I'm also not going to take private information from your relationship or take text, you know, that other members in the group were saying about your relationship and put those out there for the internet. Apparently I made Chris and his girl uncomfortable, but I couldn't have made them too uncomfortable because, like, me and Bree were always cool when I lived in the house. I would take pictures of her for her Instagram. Chris had no problem with me doing that. There was a time Bree was walking around the house. She didn't know I was home. And I saw a little too much to try and manipulate the situation and say that I made you guys uncomfortable. Just completely untrue. And Chris, the first time you told me about this situation, I had no idea what you're talking about. But then you follow up and lie and say I never apologized for anything. I said right then that I apologized if I ever had taken things too far. Or that if me and Bree had ever taken things too far. because I know we did troll you from time to time. The second situation that he mentions about me and the landlord's daughter, I don't know what he's grasping at here or what he's, again, trying to manipulate. So we moved into this house. I had a good relationship with the landlords. They had 2 daughters. The whole family, successful, smart. He's trying to twist and manipulate this story. I never even held hands with this girl. So as far as anything to that extent, just completely untrue. And then the second thing is that, like something happened that made her parents, upset and created this awkward tension for everyone else in the house. The reason why they were upset with you is because you pretty much destroyed their house between an infestation of flies because the house was so dirty from, pee and poop not getting cleaned up. And then also there was black mold in the house. And then you guys weren't keeping up with things that needed to be paid for. That's another thing I'm going to talk about is when we first lived in that house, I was in charge of everything. But it got to the point where even when I moved out and other people were in charge of it, the landlords were hitting me up 8 months later after I left, asking me if bills could get paid for.
Everybody that is no longer a part of Too Hype, they left. They left. So say it with your chest. That you left, so stop talking about it.
I'm really not sure what Chris was trying to say right here. I guess he's implying that me and Los left the group, but that's just completely not true. Like, we got kicked from the group, and I'm going to play audio for you guys that ended up getting leaked, and I really wish the entire conversation was out there because it would have looked a whole lot worse. But we're going to play what we got.
Tight schedule that we're going to start doing now that we've moved out, we're getting settled in, like, things are going to move really quick and like at a large scale. And like, we didn't want to just put it like the group channel out and stuff and like not have you like aware. And then also like, given that we see, like, we're kind of like foreshadowing, like looking forward to where this movement's going to go. And like, we didn't see like you being like a part of it. We also just wanted to like come to you. Like, we'd hope that you could build like your own narrative as to how like we're not like together. And then, like, we wanted you to, like, let us know, like, how you wanted to go about that. Like, do you plan on... Because we didn't want to, like, publicly say this and everything. I think, like we told Los, like, you guys can, like, build your narrative, like...
Yeah, we want it to be, like, you are, like, stepping away from Too Hype and going your own way because you want to focus on yourself and, like, you feel like it would be easier to do it. That way. I also don't want to just come out and say like, yeah, we kicked TD out and like have like some sort of negative connotation towards you, or have the fans have some negative connotation towards you, because we don't want to affect you on that. And like Cash was saying, like, it's not like, and Chris was saying, it's not like we still can't make videos. Like, it's not like you can't come over, like, can't play games together. You can't text us whenever you need something. Like, we're still boys.
Yeah.
This was a call in Discord. And out of the blue, they just call me and they're like, hey, TD, we're starting a group channel. We want to become like the next phase. We want to be like the Sidemen. And we don't see you being in the group anymore. So can you lie and say like you're taking a step back from the group? I responded to him and I'm like, look, I won't create drama and I won't say anything bad about you guys, but I'm not going to lie and say that I'm taking a step back to work on myself. Because that's not what's happening. It's funny because Jidel also put out a tweet saying that Los's call was like, more business and that mine wasn't. Like, this personal beef has always been brewing. You guys heard the call. There's nothing mentioned of like this personal stuff going on. They literally say like, yo, we can still be boys. Like, it seems like the narrative with these guys is constantly changing, whether they kicked me out for business or personal reasons. So I say we go ahead. Let's ask somebody that was on the other side when I got kicked out. You were on the other side of me, getting kicked out. So, in your opinion, was this like business or was this personal?
It was for sure business, but they tried to tie in like whatever little personal stuff they could to try to make it seem less about the business. But it was going from 9 people to 6 and cutting out shares for everyone in the company.
Do you remember, like, being told of any of these personal things that are being brought up now?
situation with the landlord's daughter, but as far as I'm concerned, that was completely manipulated to make it seem way worse than it was. Yeah, that's where they're just trying to grasp at whatever they can to make it seem like it wasn't about the business. Like, that's an issue when it comes time to kicking you out. Like, I fully defend you too, and the shit like Chris talking about, like, you and your boxers with Breeze, like, it shows how, like, childish and how many straws they're grasping at to try to find shit to paint you guys as the as the bad guys in the picture, but it's literally ridiculous. You know?
Right. And I know they're doing a lot of things to you as well. So I fully got your back. I fully support everything you got to say. And yeah, I'll let you speak for you, but I fully got your back.
Thank you, dude. And I wanted a part of your video too that, yeah, I got your back with everything you're saying. And they have been very, very manipulative. Very manipulative.
Yep.
And not trustworthy people.
We'll talk soon though, all right?
Yep. Talk to you later, dude.
All right, see you, bro. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you too. Peace.
That is something I want to follow up that Mopey said. So once things, for 2Hype became a corporation, they needed to split up the shares. And pretty much what that is you got to split up the revenue between the group members. So if they did that while everyone was still in the group, it would have been split amongst 9 people. Now that's a lot of pieces of the pie. But then if you kick me and you kick Los, that's a bit more pie for everybody else, isn't it? I feel like I've said everything I need to say about Jaidel's tweets and Chris's video. So I want to go over, I guess, just kind of the timeline of everything that happened with me, and why I'm not cool with these guys anymore. It was early 2017 when I first flew out to visit the then 2K house. It was Jesser, Chris, and Zach. And then they had one open bedroom. They actually invited me to be a part of the group, live in the house with them. So I became the 4th member of the 2K house. I know there's a lot of people that say like, oh, they made you. Why are you biting the hand that fed you? I was averaging over 250,000 views per video when I joined the group. And it was an addition that kind of made sense for kind of everybody involved. Because number one, I was mainly a Madden and like football channel. So that brought a lot of people that hadn't seen, Chris, Zach, and Jesse's channels before. But then the same thing is true for me, because they were mostly 2K. And I had done 2K videos before, and I've actually had done IRL videos, IRL basketball videos up to that point. They had a lot stronger of a basketball fan base. So it was kind of a perfect match where, our community is kind of like intertwined and we all just kind of grew together. The reason why I want to bring up this next part is because Chris has said, he's kind of been in charge of everything and he always has to take responsibility. And that me and Los, like I said, the narrative that we were never pulling our own weight. When the lease was coming up at the 2K house, we had this plan that we wanted to expand. We wanted a house that had a basketball court in the backyard. We wanted to add Los. That would eventually, go on to be Mopey as well. I wouldn't normally bring stuff like this up because it was just me, being part of the group. But like I said, I'm bringing it up to, get rid of that false narrative that I wasn't pulling my own weight or doing anything for the group. So I was in charge of helping us find, that new house. I spent a lot of time doing it. And I also spent a lot of time calling different real estate agents. Now, when you're looking at multi-million-dollar houses, you immediately have to show, proof of funds up front. Somebody has to, give them a credit score, which, I did that because I had very good credit. I needed to collect documents from the other members in the group. Like I said, I had no problem doing this because I was one of the, the core 4, some people called it at the time. But to say I was lazy and wasn't pulling my own weight, it's just so untrue. Now, once we found that Yorba Linda house and we moved into it, my responsibility started to grow. I was in charge of collecting rent from all the other members in the house. I was also in charge of utilities, water, gas, electric, gardeners, the people that came to clean the pool. The only time I stopped doing any of this, and the only time I stopped being in every single video, was when my mom got sick in November of 2017, and I took a step back from the group to go and help her out. Now, while I was doing that, I was still doing a lot of things. As a matter of fact, I was still in charge of handling, the electric side of utilities until they kicked me out. And I was still making sure that utilities were being paid. There was even times where they would text me and be like, hey, TD, our water isn't on today. What's going on? I'm trying to figure out what's happening because I paid the water bill. Well, you need to get an annual water test in California. I'm across the country taking care of my mom and still doing things like this to help the group out. But you're going to put out narratives that I was lazy and I wasn't pulling my own weight? I'm actually going to play a video for you guys that Jesse made when I moved out the house. And once again, you guys will see that Jesse, you know, is saying like, I'm always going to be a part of 2Hype and that I'll always have a room available.
We all love TD. TD is literally one of my best friends. Like when I found out he had to fully move out, dude, I'm not going to lie, I was depressed. I was so sad because I love TD so much. TD is my boy. He'll always be my boy. He's still in 2Hype. He's still part of the crew. Like we even told him like, bro, we'll just keep the room for you. It's okay how long, like, you need to take whatever for your mom. But we all love TD. TD's still 2Hype. He's still like one of my best friends. Me and TD got so close when he moved, so it literally was like it was crushing. And like I know he really didn't want to move out or like wanted to, but hopefully we'll reunite in the future. And he's helped me with so much stuff. Like I've learned so much from TD. TD's the fucking man. And it's so sad that he has to go. Like I'm gonna miss living with him so much because I absolutely love living with him. Probably when TD's here, I probably talk to TD more than anyone.
And around this time as well, James ended up getting introduced in the group. He ended up moving into the house. Now, this did help me as well because I didn't have to worry about, you know, paying rent there while I wasn't actually at the house. I was trying to help James, who is the new member. I had a $5,000 bed at the house that I said, you know what, James? You can have it. It's all yours. And I would never, like, you know, hold things over people's head or, you know, say things like this. But again, I feel the need to say it to, you know, get rid of these narratives that I wasn't pulling my own weight or anything like that.
I'm someone who doesn't like to lay in bed all day. I think it's kind of annoying, but I've had a change of heart. So I've always had this bed that can change the shape, but I never had it plugged in or used it at the old house because I just didn't have a reason. The bed is just a big chair now. And what do I do when I'm...
For the next 11 months, I was still, you know, part of the group. I was flying out there for videos. I was still posting on my own channel. I had multiple channels at that point. I was still trying to do as much as possible for the group. Now, after 11 months went by, I was finally able to move back to California. And the plan was I was going to be close. I was going to be able to, you know, show up for all the events that were, you know, in LA that we had planned. I was going to show up for all the group videos. You know, I could be in their videos. They could be in my videos. The amount of things that had to happen for me to move back to California was a lot. As a matter of fact, the only reason why I'm able to do what I do, and that's because my brother took on the responsibility to be with my mom 24/7. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be able to do all of these things. So I do want to say, you know, thank you to him. But I just want you guys to, you know, think about all of this stuff I had to go through to move back out to California. I get back to California, you know, things are going well. My channel's doing, you know, pretty well. I did bring Walker with me, so that was nice because since James did end up moving into the house, I didn't have a room available at that time. I thought everything was good. And then just one day, out of the blue, I get to call that I'm kicked out of the group. Not only did I feel blindsided and betrayed, bro, to hear them saying they were starting a group channel, which is like something I always talked about with them and something I always pushed for, and they didn't want to do it.
It's just kind of like, so we have a name when we're all together, when we all make videos. I don't think we'll ever have like a certain separate channel for 2Hype.
Yeah.
We all kind of want to, we also want to grow our individual brands, like our individual channels, but just make content together and just keep doing that for as long as we can. And 2Hype just makes it easier to name like when we do group videos. So it's not like an official branded thing, but it's just like a group of friends.
The crazy thing is, I'm just confused by all of this, and I still didn't say anything bad about anybody. I get text messages. I get sent, you know, some of those texts I sent you guys earlier, and I see all these things that were said behind my back. I see them start the group channel, and they start with a house tour, you know, a house that I was promised a room in, and they're showing off things that were mine. Now, I'm not going to say like Jidell's, you know, the bed I gave to Jidell. I'm not going to talk about the fire pit that I bought because those things are for the group. But personal items like monitors and, you know, like my weights and stuff like that, things that were mine, they just kept. And they're showing them off in the group video. And I asked for these things back.
Our new gym. This is our gym. So yeah, this is our in-at-home gym. This is a work in progress. It's not done yet, but we literally just got all this stuff like a week ago.
Dude, you gotta take a hallway to get here.
I ended up leaving California because, like, that's why I was there. Los ended up leaving California. That's why he was there. I just kept things moving. As a matter of fact, the entire year after I was kicked out the group, pretty much every single month I was breaking personal records. I'm not saying that to like flex or anything like that. It's just this narrative that I wasn't pulling my own weight or getting views, so that's why I got kicked out. Everything was going well, and then earlier this spring, I got very sick. I mean, I was seeing an oncologist. I was going to all these different hospitals. I ended up getting coronavirus, whether that's, you know, what I had the whole time or whether I just, you know, got it along the way. We still don't know up to this point. I specifically remember I was about to get a bunch of tubes of blood drawn. So while I'm doing that, I try to distract myself by like just going on my phone, by texting somebody, you know, reading my comments, anything like that. And I just have all these comments, all these notifications of people attacking me for blocking Jester. Now, I want to make something very clear about me and Jester. Once I got kicked from the group, he never talked to me again. He never reached out once. The last few times I talked to him, I don't even think we ever had an argument in our life. I don't know if me and Jester ever had a disagreement. He just one day, snap of a finger, woke up, ghosted me forever, never talked to me again. The last few times I talked to him, I was getting ready to post like video number 1000 on my channel. And he's like, yeah, I'll be in it. Because I wanted him and Walker in it because I considered them my two best friends. And he's like, yeah, I'll be in it. Like, I remember I had a video idea that, you know, I told him he could have. I almost don't know what to say because I can't comprehend doing that to somebody. And then he makes this video knowing how his audience is going to take it. Well, I'm going through, you know, such a tough time.
I tried reaching out to TD because I was gonna like personally message him, but I followed him the other day and then he blocked me, which is okay.
The thing is, he has my number. Everybody else in the house has my number. You could have just texted me, but instead you make a video saying I blocked you. And even after everything I went through with the group, and even after Jester made this video, I still didn't say anything. I know there's a lot of you out there that you guys say you love me and Jester, because for a long time I did consider him a best friend. But that's why we don't talk anymore. That's why you won't see any videos of me and him ever again. Because he agreed to kick me out the group. He talks about some falling out. I don't know what happened. And he never talked to me again. And that kind of brings us to pretty much the current day. Like I said, I never planned on making this video. I never wanted to. Even as the Mopey situation was unfolding. And I've talked to Mopey. That's like, people are thinking like I'm using the Mopey situation as an opportunity. No, that was never the case. It was only until Jidel and Chris, you know, said those things about me that I'm like, okay, if they're going to say this and tell these stories, I'm putting my side out there. And then one more false narrative that I want to put to rest is the Walker situation. I never asked for Walker to be in the group. I never pushed for Walker to be in the group. Walker got invited to the group because he started being in a lot of their videos. He started helping with a lot of their videos. You know, that's another thing to keep in mind. Like, people are like, oh, he's only in like 3 or 4 videos. Okay, he may have only recorded 3 or 4 videos for his channel. He was in a lot of videos. Walker and Zach became extremely close. As a matter of fact, I would say Walker and Zach became closer than me and Zach ever were. Those guys were streaming together, playing video games together till like 5 or 6 in the morning every night. They pulled me and Walker aside one day. They said, hey, Walker's going to be in 2Hype. We're going to announce him into the group. I had no idea. That was the first time I was told about it. I didn't agree with how they were doing it. They said they're going to host these 2Hype editions. And, you know, we're going to make videos of all these people auditioning to be in 2Hype. And then we're going to announce Walker as, like, the winner of the audition. I even sent the text in the group chat. I was like, yo, I feel like people are going to be mad that, like, they really didn't have a chance at winning. I did put a laughing emoji because that's just me being like, hey, you know, I don't agree with this, but I don't want to step on your toes and just, you know, be a dick about it. I remember texting Walker. I was like, dude, congrats. Like, I really wish, like, I want to talk to him because I don't want them to announce you this way. But yeah, like, you earned it. Like, this was all you. This had nothing to do with me. I've heard stories of, like, this falling out that was caused by, once again, Zach's ex-girlfriend. She caused this falling out between Zach and Walker and Zach and Los, and just more manipulation and just completely twisting of the situation. I remember a time where, you know, Los was like, dude, it's hard for me to watch your group video because of how I was treated. And I actually just end up putting the video on private. I really don't want to get into a back and forth. There's a lot more things I could have said. There's a lot more things I could have shown. I don't want it to go there. I don't want to be petty. You know, I would love for 2021 to just be free of all this stuff. You guys are still going to get views after all this. Like, your channels aren't going to die. Nobody's doing this for clout. Just stop with all the BS and it'll all be done with, okay? My side is out there. I want to be done with it, but wherever you guys want to bring this, I'll be ready for it, okay? So we'll see what happens.